Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
Oh, yeah, this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen here on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. I feel a little bit exalted this month. This is Father's Day month. Fatherhood Awareness Month, according to the San Bernardino Board of Supervisors, if I'm being shared proper information, and I do believe I am. And even if it wasn't celebrated by them or anyone else, the fact that I remember so well my father and my stepfathers and those uncles who were so instrumental in giving me guidance, and a couple of aunties who played daddy just as well. So Father's Day is Father's Day regardless of acknowledgement by some, as long as we've got the family understanding that dad is important, somebody that we respect, somebody that respects the family. And one of the things I must say is that even as a wild young man, and there were probably some wilder, there's something really life-changing. We talk about life-changing situations and life-changing events, and man, becoming a father. When I became a father, life was different. You know, it didn't immediately turn me into a workaholic. I've always been on the kind of creative side, so I didn't go out and get a job digging dishes, but I did figure out how to make money with my words and mouth, and did a couple of poetry books to make things happen, but it was a sense of responsibility. So I suppose that's why family is the first place that fatherhood needs to be acknowledged, because that's the first place that fatherhood really becomes important as an entity, as an action, as an activity, as an attitude. And if society is friendly to that father, he can continue to grow into fatherhood with joy and create a family situation that emanates joy, that generates joy. But if his society closes down on him, and there was a time during our enslavement when knowing who you loved and knowing who you valued was not something you wanted an oppressor to understand or know, because that was just another weapon for him to use to make you less than human. Because if he knew you loved that woman, he knew you loved that child, he could turn you into a nothing simply by doing what he normally was doing, but doing it in front of your mother's children, or your children's mother, or your children. There was a time when black men were totally subject to the whims of white society, white supremacist society. And I don't care if you were Mike Tyson or George Foreman, Skinny Willie could come up to you and make you do anything, as long as it was backed up or in a circumstance and situation where there was enough white people to beat you down. You know, history doesn't want us to know that now. There are people who want us to not discuss that. But June being Father's Day, Fatherhood Awareness Month, Black Music Month, Juneteenth, and Malcolm X's birthday. And the end of it all being 4 days from the nation's Declaration of Independence. June and July shouldn't make you lie. We have a diverse country, we have diverse people making it, we have a diverse beginning, and we have a need for the First Testament, which says for the New Testament, which says forgive. And that's what we're here about. We're here to forgive the past, be inspired for the future, acknowledge those people and things that inspire us to become one, work together, and become a family. So once again, as a family, we appreciate Fatherhood Awareness Month, being aware of how important it is to be a father, being aware of how hard it is to be the man that it takes to be a father in a society that beats down men based on the amount of melanin in their skin. We still have a racist, white supremacy thing to deal with and work with, and we're working on it pretty good. And I say it doesn't work just because of black folks' resistance. It also works because of white people's insistence upon balancing out and being fair. So we're in a good situation. We want to take advantage of it. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to speak with Mr. Ryan Berryman. He is founder and CEO and chief water bottle washer of an organization called San Bernardino Fatherhood. He's a great guy, great father, and we have a testimonial from Miss Rose, his wife, to acknowledge all of that. And we'll also talk about Black Music Month. We have Mr. Brian A.C., who's made a living in music as long as I've known him, and black music in particular because he's a DJ. And I don't know, I think you can go anywhere as a DJ and not end up celebrating black music. So we're going to take a short break. We'll come back to it very shortly. Meanwhile, we'll see what our friend Eric is going to take us out on, and we'll be back. And it's okay to tap your feet. It's okay to dance a little bit. It's okay.
Your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Life. And I think that fence is still available as I hear black music being emulated, stimulating, and inspiring in the world still. And that's a great thing. I'm not in a position to tell you all of the great young musicians that are out here that, I mean, I can't name them all. And I could age the show real quick telling you. But I've got Mr. Brian Concord, Brian A.C. on the line with us. Brian has been playing music as long as I've been in the Inland Empire and putting on great shows. And Brian, how are you this morning?
Excellent. How are you, sir?
God is great, and I'm extremely grateful to say that I try to follow his rules and try to be a good guy. And
yes,
you know that means it's Sunday morning. We could have stayed up all night, at the little whatever we call it, dance shack, and look up. It's 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. We go by Miss Anna's and catch us a little bacon and eggs and stuff, and look up, and it's 9 o'clock, and it's time to go to church. But we still have our instruments and everything, and we may do a little bit of, but how close is that dance hall hot stuff that we were dancing and sweating to on Saturday night to the gospel music that we play to bring us a little slow down and a little closer to the rules of the Lord on Sunday? Talk to me.
Yeah, music is spiritual. It will calm you. It'll get you excited. It'll get into your spirit to cause you to do things. There's I've been a DJ since 1975, and I've seen the transition of music. And I thought, it's funny because I thought, as I got older, I used to hear the older people, my seniors used to say, "Oh man, the music's changed. It's so loud, it's so crazy, and da 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 da." And I feel myself doing the same thing today, where we listen to the music today. It's a lot different than it was when me coming up.
That's right.
With the new generation.
That's right. But different is what our young people are supposed to do. That represents some level of inspiration, change. That's where we get it from. If they were if they were playing the same way that Louis Armstrong was playing when he first took the world by storm, we would not have made progress. We would have missed Miles Davis, Freddie Hubbard. We'd miss some of the great jazz things that have occurred as a result of Saturday night and the Sunday morning obligation, and then the rebirth again on Wednesday and Thursday as to, the freedom of the soul, the freedom of the music, and the acknowledgement and change even at the gospel level, what we're playing in church. Black music is our history. Brian, what are some of the pieces that, as you would be going, let's say you were doing a show, or can you just talk to us a little bit about some of the young musicians, some of the hot items here, or maybe I should have Eric speak up, but I understand, I heard someone say that Rihanna has accumulated more record sales and money than any other artist. Do we have anything to deny that or acknowledge that, Eric?
I think everybody has their, yes and no. Yes and no. I'll say it that way. I mean, it's a whole different day because music is global. The MP3 you can download on every smartphone on the planet. So the record sales is different than it was back in the day when you had a 45 or LP or even a CD. So from that point of view, absolutely, you'll find people breaking records today because they can download songs that all over the world, where before it would be regional. It would be United States, and then they have to start all over going into the othermost parts of the earth.
So with that situation, most young artists are distributing totally different. The gateways that people had to go through 20 years ago in order to become an artist, sometimes that gateway was, as we find out in the YouTube movement, a casting couch of sorts. Now they don't have to go through that. Like you're saying, the distribution, the worldwide access, that's changing the music distribution. And how much do you think that's freeing people up to demonstrate different levels of music, Brian?
That's funny because today more than ever before, a person can stay independent. They don't need major labels anymore. I think the biggest thing that I can say this morning about the music business or the music of the music is that we need to, that if you're a young artist thinking about going into it, learn the business side. That's been the biggest challenge for us as African Americans. We give away our birthrights. We allow folks to copyright our songs and own their ownership of our intellectual property, which causes us to be broke and keeps us bound. But now if you learn the business and learn how to copyright for yourself, learn how to trademark yourself, learn how to get a corporation, raising the money and doing business is a whole lot easier because you could be self-contained and do it yourself. It may take a little bit longer, but you own 100% versus only 12%, and then they turn around and get you on the backside because of your ignorance and not understanding the business side.
It might take you longer to facilitate the business side, but you already have acknowledged something at the beginning that you have to prove to other people. When you're a young artist and you believe in yourself, you're ready to go work for yourself. But if you're looking for someone else to believe in you, you may spend as much time getting them to believe in you as it would take for you to follow through in believing in yourself by learning to do those things that you discussed. Brian?
Well, the system is set up, they don't believe in you, they see the opportunity, then they can exploit you. There's a difference. And the difference is that if they see that you don't know what you're doing and you're looking for an opportunity, they'll take that and bait you to get you bound. But now, because of the MP3, because of the internet, now you as a person that's thinking about it, you don't have to be a millionaire, you just need to have control over the money that you do have and can have. And I think that's the biggest thing. Everybody wants to be Rihanna, but not realizing if you can make, the average person makes, the average African American makes 40 to 50,000 a year. So that's a decent living. Is it rich? No. Can you do some things? Yes. So if you look at making a living first, then all you do is just multiply the foundation of what you've already set together to do business.
You sound like someone who a wise young person might come and talk to as they endeavor to get involved in this music and entertainment business.
Absolutely. That's one of the things. That's my passion. Is we do business development. So music is because I've been doing music business for almost all my life. Well, all my adult life for sure. Since I was 14, 15 years old, I've been in the music business, and I've seen the challenges that it's hurt people. So my goal is to help people to understand that if you learn the business and do great business practices, then you be successful as you choose to, based upon you putting in the effort into yourself and selling yourself more than anything else.
So what we were saying in terms of believing in you, the industry tends to look to believe in their ability to exploit and bring out. And that's not really bad if that's what you want. Some people.
Well, it's bad because everybody has an agenda. Everybody. Mm-hmm. But it's how you both equally benefit from that agenda that you can both be successful. If only one person eats, that's a challenge. But if you both can eat and you both can grow and you can mature, and there's both assets where I bring in the money, you bring in the expertise, but then we share the resources together and share the wealth together, that's great. But it's when I take advantage of you because of your ignorance, that's the challenge, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that is. Unfortunately, the template that the world seems to work with for those people who are not willing to open their eyes, open their heart, take the challenge, think about what life is really about, and follow their shadow.
Yes, sir. Not to mention, I know you're getting ready to close, but not to mention, technology allows you now to create your own music and master your own music, where before you still had to go to a studio to get it done. But there's certain parts that you can do to create your own project. You don't have to have it totally finished where it's polished and perfect. You can always change and add on, just get started and, start posting on YouTube, getting your videos out there, telling your story. And then that will build the people that start believing in you because you're sharing with them, hey, by the way, if you like this, let me know. Then you do a survey, and if they like it, then that's the one you publish first.
So we would be able to say that if you're a young person and you're looking at going to look at the basketball game this afternoon, the finals, that you would probably be better off not trying to be a basketball star, but maybe you could be the person that writes the music that they're playing during the game. I know that there's only a few spots on the NBA for you to grow up and be involved in. But from what you're telling me, you could follow a little passion and follow your little heartbeat and find out what your tune is and put that thing out and, make you enough money that your life could change.
There are folks on Twitter, not Twitter, excuse me, that are on TikTok that are doing very, very well because they put the songs out and let people enjoy it. And then that caused them to love them, and they tell the story, and then it shares to YouTube, and it shares to their website, it shares to their Instagram for them to be able to take what their gifts and talents are, build it into something that they can actually make a living doing it because it's their passion. And they're passionate about it. One, I would think I would turn the TV off unless it's watching YouTube to learn about the business of being in the music business. Watching all this other stuff will never make. The reason these guys are the ones that are the superstars is because they turned off the TV and they dedicated their lives to what their craft was. So the same thing in music. If you choose to be in music, then you need to turn off all this other stuff that's not going to give you the tools to be able to be successful in the business of making music. That's, I want to be an artist. I want to be Prince. Well, Prince did make some mistakes back in the day where he lost his name because he sold his birthright. So if we don't learn, again, I'm going to keep saying, if you don't learn the business side, then you won't be successful. You look at 98%.
Let me interrupt and go back to my beginning of the show as I was acknowledging and thanking those people who have been father figures for me in my life. And I got down to the point of some aunts and uncles who were just as fatherly and supportive with their advice. Well, at this point, I can call you Uncle. I can call you Uncle AC. I
Right.
could call you Uncle Brian. You have something that can be the father for our people who are interested in growing up under a proper umbrella of the music business. How can people get in touch with you, get some of your advice, your consulting, because you are in that business? We haven't talked about it, but you also have a TV channel and an entertainment business, Bach TV. But we'll get that next time. But let's make this transition into the fatherhood figure that you can be for those young people who are interested in growing up under the proper understanding of the music business.
Yeah, if you go to briancochran.org, that's BrianCochran.org. That's where my personal website is. If you go there and just put your name on the contact list, and I'll contact you. We're starting an academy to help you to grow your business, and as a consultant, my goal is to help you. It won't cost you anything except for your time. If you want to spend the time, then I'll teach you. If you don't want to spend the time, then there's nothing I can do for you. But yes, that's my cell number is 909-816-4134, 909-816-4134.
That's 909-816-4134 for you to get in touch with your Uncle Music Daddy, Mr. Brian A.C. Cochran. All right, Brian, we want to thank you. This is Fatherhood Appreciation Month, and I seriously say you are a musical father to anyone who wants to come under your umbrella, and we appreciate that. And thank you for keeping us on track. And we're going to talk a little bit with, if you've got time to hang around. If not, you can call back.
Yeah.
But we have,
I'm good.
we have Ryan, which rhymes with Brian, Berryman. He is the CEO, the founder and creator of an organization called San Bernardino Fatherhood. And it doesn't, it doesn't say black fatherhood or Asian fatherhood or white fatherhood. It says fatherhood, indicating that there's something very common, even among diverse people, about being fathers. We'll talk to Ryan in just a moment, right after this short break.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if you're looking in the mirror or looking at somebody else, but if you do it with a smile, it should create another smile. That's what we are here to do. Share this world. I mean, the planet is ours as long as we don't mess it up. The planet will throw us away. We think we're trying to save the planet. Boy, the planet, we should be trying to save ourselves. The planet will be here. It has been here. And it will go through the changes necessary. And if we become an irritant, as we are, it's going to cough us up and spit us out. Let's not do that. Ryan Berryman, San Bernardino Fatherhood. Ryan, welcome to the show. Welcome to this planet. What's up with the San Bernardino Fatherhood organization? Why did you, and what is it, and tell us what you're doing.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for this opportunity. It's an honor to be a part of this. Thank you for this opportunity and honor. I really appreciate it, Mr. Allen. Yeah, San Bernardino Fatherhood is a nonprofit organization, been around about 6 years now, focusing on the needs of fathers, looking at the inclusion of fathers in our communities, our systems, engaging fathers to be involved more in their families and their communities, and also responsible fatherhood, them being positive leaders in their community, an example for their children, being leaders. I really like what Brian Cochran was saying. There's a lot of good information from that, and definitely he is a father of music, I would like to call him. And I appreciate that. A lot of people can follow him and gain knowledge from him. The same thing with fatherhood. We look at fathers as the foundation of the family.
Are you involved more in terms of celebrating good fathers, or are you involved more in working with people so that they can become good fathers, or are we working to deal with beating up those folks who have proven to be bad fathers?
Definitely not doing any beating up. You know, everybody has their own story, has their own experiences, so we don't want to be judgment. We don't want to be judges of any other fathers, not knowing their experiences and what kind of traumas they had in their lives. But we want to basically to engage in the enhancement of fathers and their families and their communities. Also want to uplift and educate and advocate for the important role that fathers have in the community and their families. The inclusion of fathers, you know, historically, and you made mention of it earlier, going all the way back to slavery, you know, where there was separation, you know, taking the fathers out of the home, especially in our African American and people of color. So we want to look at fathers and getting even fathers themselves, men themselves, understand the important role, because I believe nowadays, fathers, men do not understand, do not recognize how important their role is, and then getting the community to recognize that as well.
We speak of the issue of separating the families during slavery, and we can talk and see obviously how terrible that is. We see, as we discuss immigration into this country now, the concept of separating families, how that angers and upsets people. But let us go and look at the welfare system in the United States and regard the fact that when it first started, the idea of welfare in the African American family meant that there could be no father in the building, no father in the home, no father in the apartment. If he is, your welfare monies will be shut off.
Absolutely.
So if it's welfare, it cannot include helping black men. Now, I'm not today's program. I'm not going to lean on all of the white supremacy structures that are in place. But we have to acknowledge they are in place. That's why we have a place that we need to operate from in building up our families. As we talk about the fact that your organization is San Bernardino Fatherhood, the problem fathers, the fathers who have problems, are going to be those who are detached from the normal, or from what we would call, I guess, the perfect or better situation where you're a young man, you start a family, and you've got a job, and you've got the income to be able to prove to yourself that you're a man in charge and the cornerstone of your family. Mm-hmm. As you do what you do, I know that you, for instance, you have a program coming up, free diapers. Mm-hmm. Now, free diapers tells me for sure, and, you know, I don't care how much money you got, getting free diapers is important. Why? Because they cost a lot of money, and for some reason, we no longer use cotton diapers and wash them like in the old days.
Correct.
You know, we create a toxic hazard in the name of diapers every day, which is another problem. But your diaper day indicates to me that you're working to some level with people who are denied or who haven't got access to all of the resources that would help them become good fathers. Is that a...
Yeah. The fact that we provide free diapers is what we're doing is looking at changing the narrative regards to the father, and a fatherhood program that provides diapers. So we have one of our programs is we have this program called Boot Camp for New Dads.
Okay.
So that particular program, matter of fact, we had one yesterday. Had 7 of our either new or expecting fathers participate in that program.
Right.
It was beautiful, and majority of the individuals attended were men of color. So that particular program, what we want to do is change the narratives and let our community know, let our fathers know that dads changing diapers is okay. Okay, in that particular program, Boot Camp for New Dads, we focus on 3 specific areas. Dads caring for their baby and the mom, teamwork, the importance of fathers and mothers working together, and then the third area is protectors, dads being protectors of the mothers when she's pregnant, as well as the infant. Knowing that when he protects that mother when she's pregnant, he's protecting the infant. And that's going to medical appointments, making sure her health is okay, making sure she's doing okay, physically, emotionally, in all other kind of ways.
Eating right, exercising.
All of that, him being supportive of her.
Yes.
Because when he's supportive of her, he's protecting his baby. He's protecting his baby.
Would you say happy fathers make happy children?
Oh, most definitely. And strong families. Happy fathers when they're happy, and they make strong families as well. And then the rest of the family, basically, they feed off of that. So I always try to get men to understand how important their role, and that being the foundation. That added support for mom, the strengthening of the families by them being positive model for their children, and not just that family right there, but it leads a generation, a legacy of other fathers where girls grew up with knowing what the father looks like, what that should look like in the man that she is to marry, or a boy to look at his father and saying, yeah, this is what I want to be when I have my children.
And that's a quiet lesson that takes place even if the parent isn't trying to make it.
Correct.
So if a young man sees an abusive father, he tends to think that that's the route to take.
That's normal.
Even though he may side with his mother and be against the abuse that she's taking, he's still learning to deliver abuse.
That becomes the norm from him, unfortunately. So looking at that and the importance of both roles, and we really focus on the importance of the mother, the importance of the father for the benefit of the children. So when we have strong families, we have strong communities.
And when we have weak families,
we have weak communities. And we see that in our community now. A lot of the social ills in our community is, in my opinion, a result of the lack of fathers.
do you see a difference that you can describe between a single man, 30 years old, and a married or a man with a child that's 30 years old that he's able to take care of?
A single man.
Okay, let's see. I guess I'm going back thinking about how wild and how accessible, and if you want to get a super spy, you really rather get a guy who's not married, who's not attached, who doesn't have any real anchoring. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you want someone that is going to be around for a while, someone that's going to be dependable,
okay, gotcha.
You would tend to look for someone who's being anchored by a family.
Well, I don't know. Maybe let me try to answer it this way. One of the things I recognize is when we work with our men, and we give them this title of father, it gives them a sense of purpose and identity, that he has other people that he is responsible for, other people that they are looking at him as being that leader. So it gives them a sense of identity. It gives them a sense of purpose. You know, like one of the things most men, they recognize as being providers of their family. And a lot of times that's having to do with financial. But we recognize in our programs, we try to get men to understand that they can be providers in other ways as well. They can be emotional providers, spiritual providers. They can be learners and teacher of their children, you know, in schools and being there, being present just to be able to talk to, which helps the children, and also being supporters of the mother, you know, in the family, which makes the family a lot more stronger, beneficial, more equipped to deal with some of the stresses in our society.
I think that you're speaking of building strength. So you'll run into some young men who don't have the income that they want, maybe don't have the education they want, mm-hmm. that they do have a child and a child's mother that they want.
Got it.
So I suppose from your counseling position, you're kind of obligated to say wherever you are, if you are a father, there's a way to prove that and be a good father despite your circumstance at some level.
Correct.
But we do acknowledge that having a job and an income is important if you are the provider. But we're in a new age where, well, it's not that new, but women are able to make as much and sometimes more money than their black husband.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And so one of the things that keeping in mind also is when I work with the fathers, work with men,
how to be a father though you're not the financial provider.
And what I try to do is, as long as if him and the mother have this understanding, the whole focus is what's best for the children. What's best for the children. If she makes more than him economically, financially, and he has to be able to provide in other areas, what's going to benefit the children? So that's where the focus of energy, the focus of effort, self-esteem, and all of that should be focused is what's best for the children.
We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'd like for you to talk a little bit about some of the activities that you are involved in and, you know, how others can help you in your quest to make fatherhood an easier road to travel in terms of them being able to mentor and share good information and to help relieve pressures from some of the potentially great fathers who need a little bridge of help from some and support from someone else. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm speaking to Ryan Berryman, the creator, founder of, and chief bottle washer for San Bernardino Fatherhood. And believe me, he's got some support too. We'll be right back.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination, though you may find from time to time complications. And take the trip, though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip. Just move on up for peace you'll find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush not.
Yeah, we're talking to that great Curtis Mayfield. Boy, I tell you, a lot of fathers became fathers because of some of the... Oh, yeah. Boy, I tell you what. Curtis Mayfield, great guy, great musician, great echo forever. We're speaking with Ryan Berryman. Ryan is the creator of Fatherhood, San Bernardino Fatherhood. Ryan, why did you and when did you... and what made you come up with the idea of creating this organization?
Yeah, real quick, Basically, come from a social work background, working with children and family services here in San Bernardino County. 20 years, and once working there, recognized there was not a lot of resources and services for fathers. I retired from the county, started fatherhood programs, San Bernardino Fatherhood, focusing on, again, the inclusion of fathers in our systems, in the medical and the social service systems, as well as focusing on fathers being responsible in the community and in their children's lives.
What was the first thing that you did to feel like you were an organization and moving on the right track?
A couple of things. One of them, I incorporated a program called 24/7 Dad. It's an educational, evidence-based program focused on fathers in 5 particular areas: self-awareness, caring for self, fathering skills, parenting skills, and relationship skills. So that program, working with fathers in the Salvation Army and the community, providing those programs to dads and helping them become better dads and understanding their roles, and also having events in the community. Like we have a daddy-daughter dance. and have a number of events coming up this year.
A daddy-daughter dance?
Oh, yeah. Daddy-daughter dance is one of our favorite events and most popular events in the community. We just had this last event in March and had almost 300 individuals there. I think we had around 80 or 85 dads there with their children of different demographics, and it was a great event.
Now, this is the other thing. You said this earlier, and I want to say it again. Diversity in fatherhood, diversity in our country. Your program is probably generated from the fact that there are so many resources that black young men needed. But if the only families and children that we make happy and full are black, then we're creating a problem by not having happy white families, and happy brown families, and happy Asian families, and happy Native families, and happy everybody family. So your program is open to everybody.
Yes.
In the sense that you want not just one group of people being properly raised and incentivized to be good people.
Yeah.
That we as a planet, we've got to do this for each other on an ongoing basis.
Yeah, let me go ahead and say, yes, we offer services to all fathers, but particularly we have to intentionally address the needs of our African American fathers, because those are our African American fathers those are the ones who are most negatively affected in our community.
Least served.
And one good example is Black infant mortality. Our county and our state just recently recognized the fact that fatherhood services, fatherhood intervention is one of the interventions that decreases Black infant mortality. So we intentionally reach out to our African American fathers.
More than twice as many black infants died prior to birth.
Absolutely.
In this county and across the country, that number is even higher.
Correct. Black infants and black mothers as well. So one of the things we focus on is intentionally reaching our African American fathers, all fathers, but intentionally our African American fathers, to provide the resources and services and awareness of how important their role is to the mother and the infants.
How much resistance and what is the resistance that you find in delivering your program services?
Yeah. More of the resistance has to do with just basic bringing about awareness, and it's also changing the culture. Again, like I mentioned, most of our resources and services in the social service system focus more on moms and infants, even in the medical field. So when we go to, like for example, OBGYN, the doctors for mothers who are pregnant, they're focusing more on moms. And so what we try to do is get our fathers to be a part of that support system for moms. Even in the medical fields, like the Maternal Health Network, we try to include our resources and services in there and letting them know that fathers can be a great support system for moms as well as for their babies.
The orthodox concept is that, if there's a father and a mother, there's a marriage, but the reality is that is not the case. Mm-hmm. And many times our bureaucracy requires a marriage in order for them to be able to share the same experience. For instance, I suppose going to the doctor. Mm-hmm. If you're not married, you're sharing medical information with your chosen spouse, your partner, your blah, blah, blah. I don't know what that is legally, but is there a problem there?
Yeah. one of the things we try to do is get moms involved. When a lot of times the system historically has kept moms out. You mentioned that earlier in regards to our social service and welfare systems. The medical systems is done as well. And it's more or less, in my opinion, a lot of our moms, they kind of follow suit and kind of drank the Kool-Aid and saying, hey, well, the father's not here, he's not involved, father's feeling the same way. And so there's a lack of initiative by the fathers to be involved because of all those numbers of reasons.
Is there an incentive for women, mothers, to deny that presence of the father other than, is their health care at any point dependent upon their not being a father?
They see, I'm not aware of any. I'm not aware of any.
So that's not a real obstacle. It's a virtual obstacle.
It's a virtual, and basically on the narrative also. They have the one program called Sisters, supporting the sisters in the village. And so like when you look at programs, even the medical health, I was reading something about when our hospitals, they focus on moms and the infants. I would think be moms, dads, and infants. Even the ideal of maternal postpartum. It should be like, because dads go through postpartum if they're with the mom as well. Everybody in the family is affected by depression and postpartum if they're in the home.
And the change, it's a change.
Correct. And so like the moms are served, but the dads aren't served.
So we're not really, I know you enough to know that you're not talking about taking away any services that are available to mothers. You're talking about adding services. Inclusion. That would enhance the probability of a successful family raising a successful child in a successful society.
That's i.e. inclusion and inequity. Inclusion and equity, i.e.
That is the i.e.
For fathers.
Inclusion and equity. I like that part.
Absolutely.
You don't mind if I use that as we discuss other things in the future.
We always throw in fatherhood, please.
Throw in, without a doubt. What is it that our community could do that would enhance what you're doing? And what kind of support is necessary for you to keep doing what you do? I know that this program is making you millions of dollars a month and all of that, but that's not true?
Oh, absolutely not.
No?
Yeah, our income is very minimum. Volunteers, again, it's nonprofit. Donations, we have a small contract with the county currently. We have great supporters through our Black Equity Initiative, Black Equity Collective. Also, Community Foundation, they support a grant that they provided with the Black Infant Health, addressing Black infant mortality in our communities. That's primarily it. Basically, what we look for is participation, involvement, and some sponsorships, particularly having to do with this month, which is Fatherhood Awareness Month. And you can take it to the bank. San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors, they recognize the month of June 2023 as Fatherhood Awareness Month. And I think that's a big step. And I like to give accolades to the Board of Supervisors for being able to do that. But that's just one step. The rest of the step is the follow through. And that can be economically, that's by involvement, participation, support of our fathers.
Do you have a component that helps young men find work if indeed that's something that they're missing?
Yeah. In our program, we basically focus on the individual himself. A lot of our fathers haven't had good father roles themselves, so we mainly focus on that. Regardless of employment, what we most often do is we give referrals to other ones.
Yeah.
We have Father Forestry, a gentleman that we work with in forestry that we work with, CAL FIRES, other organizations as well. So we basically refer those individuals out. Salvation, they've always been a great help in finding
people that are looking for employees or contract workers understand that they're not easy to get.
No.
And that a good referral is sometimes the best experience or the best thing that they can have in terms of deciding, is this a good worker?
Absolutely.
So I would encourage people who are employers to contact you, not because they need an employee right away, but that they're willing to support what you're doing and maybe provide access to a short-term income for somebody that deserves it, or would support them. But everything we do isn't always because we need it. Sometimes we do things because other people need them.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm calling on, and that's the compassion of the people in our audience that have the ability to hire somebody that you don't need to do some work that they need in order to be able to contribute to their family and keep their family up in society. That's it's great to be able to write a check to a big charity and send it to them, but it's something about putting that check directly in the hands of somebody that needs it and is going to benefit from it right there in front of your very eyes. And so I encourage that. I don't know if you've been doing it, but I hope your telephone is just flooded with people that says, I want to help. I want to do something. I don't know exactly what to do, but I want to do something because happy fathers make happy children. Happy children can make happy mamas. And if we can have a happy mama, daddy, baby situation, we're going to have a smile that can move down the street. And that's what we need. We need people who are committed. What can people do? What do you want to remind us of? We got another 30 seconds.
Another 30 seconds. Please contact us at sbfatherhood.com. Again, it's sbfatherhood.com. My phone number, 909-567-9508. Want to give a big shout out to this concert, Walter Beasley Jazz Concert, a tribute to fathers in recognition of Fatherhood Awareness Month. And that'll be at Valley College, San Bernardino Valley College on June 24th. The tickets, $65 and $85. Please make it. Walter Beasley Jazz Concert, a tribute to fathers, June 24th, San Bernardino Valley College.
Very good. If I were to ask you the name of your favorite flower, what would it be?
Rose, absolutely Rose.
Okay, and would you get Rose? Miss Rose, you've been sitting there quietly. Tell us something. Just say hello. Say Happy Father's Day. Give us a breath.
Hello, this is Rose Tucker Berryman. Thank you so much, Mr. Wallace. Happy Father's Day.
I've been successful, folks. She guaranteed me earlier that she would not say a word.
Oh, okay.
So we've quested. We've won our quest. She is the backbone. She is the reason that Mr. Berryman smiles, and he's discussed you in the past in a very positive way.
Oh,
God bless
you.
us all for having this shared experience. Anthony Garcia, Mood Master, rock and roll, brother. I appreciate you, and thank you for Black Music Month. Eric, thank you for your move through the, and give us some attitude as we get out of here. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. See you next week under two circumstances. One, good Lord willing. Two, the creek don't rise.
When I come home from a hard day's work and you're waiting.
KCAA Loma Linda.